Imagine waking up and finding yourself in a reality that isn't real. And worse, the person closest to you believes in it too. A delusion so powerful, it spreads like a virus. This is Folie, Deux, a rare, haunting psychological disorder where delusions are shared, and in some cases, those delusions turn deadly. I'm the psycho nurse, and today I'm taking you deep into the psych ward of the mind. Stick around, because what starts with love ends in madness. Folie à deux means madness of two in French. Also called shared psychotic disorder, it occurs when two or more individuals share the same false belief, often bizarre, paranoid, or grandiose. Typically, one person, the primary, is the source of the delusion, and the other adopts it through close emotional proximity and isolation. But here's the catch. It can happen between lovers, siblings, parents and children, or even roommates. Madness doesn't discriminate. It just needs proximity and belief. The term was first described in 1877 by two French psychiatrists, Charles Lassague and Jean-Pierre Folie, after studying psychiatric patients who developed identical delusions while living together. They noticed that once the patients were separated, only one showed persistent psychotic symptoms. The rest were essentially cured. It shook the foundations of psychiatry. Could mental illness be contagious? In 2008, the Eriksson twins, Sabina and Ursula, stunned the world. Caught on UK motorway CCTV, they ran into traffic not once but twice. They were convinced they were being pursued by evil forces. Miraculously, both survived the initial impact. But what followed was even more chilling. Hours later, Sabina stabbed a man to death. She showed no remorse, still trapped in a shared delusion that justified the violence. No prior history of mental illness, no drugs, no psychosis, until they were together. In Japan, two sisters were found dead, convinced they were being poisoned by neighbors. A mother and daughter in India believed they were cursed, both starving themselves to death. In some cults, folie à deux becomes folie à trois, à quatre, or more. Entire families trapped in collective madness, believing the world is ending, or that they're chosen by God. These aren't movies, these are documented psychiatric cases. So what causes it? The primary usually suffers from delusional or paranoid schizophrenia. The secondary is emotionally dependent, often isolated, suggestible, or vulnerable. Both typically lack outside social input, making the delusion their only version of truth. Once the belief is repeated enough, it's no longer questioned. It becomes shared reality. This condition is a chilling reminder that our minds aren't just fragile, they're influenceable. There are four main types of folie à deux. Folie imposée. One dominant person imposes a delusion on another. Folie simultanée. Both develop the same delusion at the same time. Folie communiquée. Delusion spreads, and even after separation, the secondary retains it. Folie induite. New delusions are added as more people join the shared belief. Think of it like psychological gravity. The more you orbit someone's belief, the harder it is to escape. The first and most effective treatment is separation. Once removed from the primary person, the secondary often recovers rapidly, sometimes within days. The primary usually requires antipsychotics, psychotherapy, and sometimes long-term care. But reunification can reignite the delusion. And in some cases, the cycle never breaks. Folie à deux is terrifying, not just because it's rare, but because it reveals a truth we all try to ignore. Reality is fragile. And sometimes all it takes is one person to take you down the rabbit hole with them. What do you think? Could you recognize a shared delusion? Would you know if someone dragged you into theirs? I'm the psycho nurse, and I bring you real disorders, real psychology, and the real dark side of the mind. Subscribe, like, and comment if you want more rare psych cases, and trust me, the next one will blow your mind.